Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Angela Star if you're new, and if you're not new, welcome back. So this video is week 8 history class. So the intro to history class is where we will pretty much have a briefing on what to expect during the 2 weeks of history, how the test will be set up, how to study for it, and just pretty much everything you need to know on how to be successful for the history exam. So I have my notes here below, so if I'm looking down, I'm just checking my notes on to make sure that I'm giving you guys like accurate information. So yeah, so the first day is just an intro, you know, but what he did for us is he did go over lesson 1, at least half of lesson 1, so that, you know, the next day we can, you know, be a little caught up, a little ahead. So pretty much what you need to pay attention to is everything that's in red. Everything that's in red is testable. When you're taking notes, copy everything in red. Just write down everything in red. He will be going extremely fast, so type if you can type fast. If you can write fast, then write it. I'm not a fast typer or writer, but I did my best to get the best notes possible, or, you know, if I'm sitting next to someone, they'll pretty much help you out, and vice versa. So yeah, what I have here is everything that's underlined is pretty much study guide testable items, and it says here that you want to look at both the slides and the book. But to be completely honest with you guys, we did not use that book, like barely used that book. The only time we used the book is when he was giving a lesson and he had us turn to a certain page and he'll read on a certain battle or something like that. But honestly, you don't really need the book. You just want to stick to the study guide, and you want to stick to everything that's in red, which will be your notes. So on our study guide, there's like test questions that's on the back of the study guide. So it may be like, okay, let's say they have 4 questions, right? You don't know which of those 4 questions you're going to get, so you just want to study all 4 of those questions. It may have like this battle, 4 questions under it, another battle, 4 questions under it. You just don't know which question you're going to get. So I'm going to go ahead and break down the entire test on how he gave it to us. So according to my notes and according to how the test actually was when I took it, the first portion of the test will be the multiple choice questions. Now, this part is extremely important because it's going to really like dictate your grade majority, because it's worth the most points. So the first section is 10 questions, it's multiple choice, and they're worth 6 points each, which totals 60 points. That's the majority of your grade. So you really want to try your best to get all 10 of those questions correct. The second part is identification. So although all the questions are multiple choice except for the true and false, you just have to circle true and false. But the identification questions are 6 questions, and they're worth 2 points each. Then the last portion is true or false. Now these are not technically multiple choice, you just have to pretty much know the material. So it'll say a statement, and you have to circle if that statement is true or if it's false. It'll give a statement, and the question is either going to be completely correct, or if it's false, it'll sound correct, but it'll have maybe one word in there that makes the entire question false. So you really have to know your information, and you really have to pay attention. Read the question twice, if not 3 times, and try to understand exactly what you're reading, because you don't want to misunderstand it and then circle true when it's actually false, or vice versa. So you really have to know the information. And although they're worth the least amount of points, you never know. Some people actually failed the test with a 69 or a 67. So you really, every point counts pretty much. So that's pretty much the breakdown of the actual exam. It's 3 parts. The first part is the most like important because it's worth the most points. So how to study for the exam, you want to pretty much take good notes. and just go off of the study guide that the instructor gives you, and he pretty much breaks down, like pretty much letting you know, directing you on what to study, but not telling you exactly what questions you're gonna have, if that makes sense. It's very confusing in a way, but you will have to like see it for yourself to kind of understand it. But you can feel free to ask him any questions. Like, he's a nice guy, he will answer all your questions. The only problem I have with the class, honestly, is that it's very fast paced. It goes extremely fast, especially when he's going over the red information, the information that's gonna be in red. That goes by so fast. Like, he speeds through it because he's trying to get through all the lessons in a timely manner, but it's like, it's so fast paced, it's hard to process all this information that's like bundled up all in one class. And it's like, then you're trying to take notes and then you're trying to understand it all at once. Like, it's a challenge. It's definitely a challenge, but I don't know what to say. You're just gonna have to do your best to try to stay awake and stay alert. Now, however, we are allowed to have, coffee at this point, drinks, snacks, all of that stuff in the classroom. So all of that stuff should help you stay awake. Like, it's gonna be boring. I'm not gonna lie, it's going to be boring. For some people, they may be interested in it, but I know for myself, it was hard for me to pay attention. Like, although I passed the first time, it was a lot. Like, I was bored a lot of times, and I'm just like, man, this information, like, it don't feel like it's sticking at all. And it's like, dang, like, whew. So you want to stick to the study guide that he gives you, and you also want to stick to the slides. Now, your slides that's on your computer is going to be completely different. Well, not completely different, but for the most part, it's going to be different from the slides that the instructor have. So don't get all like worried, like, oh my God, like, it's going to be different. So as you're following along with him, it's not going to be exactly the same. Just stick to everything in red, write everything down in red, and pay attention to those questions at the end, or in between the lessons. Like, they may say like M8 or M10. You want to pay attention to those questions. Like, write those down if you can. Study those as well. And you do want to make sure you have somewhat of basic understanding of each battle. Don't try to like bust your brain trying to get every single thing down packed in a battle, but you just want to make sure you kind of know key points of the battle. Like, for example, I had Scott and Taylor. Like, you want to remember that, if I can remember, Scott was bad and Taylor was good at this, and Taylor was bad at that. And you kind of want to just know the difference, like little things like that. Taylor won these amount of battles and Scott failed at this, or Scott did good at this and Taylor did bad at that. So you just kind of want to remember certain things like that. You also want to make sure that, you are studying, and that you're getting in study groups. Like, you want to get with people that can share knowledge and information. Like, I know it did help me, and you just want to get with people that seem to grasp the information, that's understanding it. So get in study groups. Like, I highly recommend that you get in study groups. Like, you don't want to set yourself up for failure. Do everything that you possibly can to pass. Listen to me closely. You want to do everything that you possibly can to pass. Staying up late, studying, getting with study groups, like asking a bunch of questions, staying after class, being the last one out of class so you can ask the professor as many questions as you need. You want to do that. Like, you want to do that. I mean, yeah, guys, there's not really much else to it, but like, I don't know. If you guys have any other questions or concerns, you can leave a comment below. You also can reach out to me on my Instagram. I'm very active on my Instagram. I'm always answering messages all the time. If I don't get to you right away, just know that I will get to you eventually. So feel free to shoot me a message. You have any questions, any concerns, if anything that I can do for you, I'll be happy to do so. I hope that this video was helpful. I wish that I can give you guys more information, but I really don't know what else that I can give you guys. Like, yeah, I have study material and everything, but you gotta understand that, like, he switches up every cycle. Like, this class may have these battles, and then this class may have a different set of battles. Like, I don't know, he may switch the questions. Like, you may have the same battles, but like the questions may be completely different, you know, so they say. Like, so you don't want to, like, just stick to what he's giving you. Don't go off what other classes are doing, or don't really pay attention to their study guides, because you don't want to, like, confuse yourself, and you just don't want to do that, because the class is already overwhelming enough, so you don't want to overwhelm yourself even more. So stick to the material that he's giving you in that particular class. Yeah, guys, I think that's about it. I don't really know what else to say on history. Just best wishes if you guys are taking the history test. Study, study, study. Get with study groups and pay attention to everything that's in red, and pay attention to the questions that he go over between the lessons. Yeah, guys, like, history is really stressful. Like, I'm not gonna lie to you guys. Like, there's a lot of rumors going around about history, and I have to say that, yeah, a lot of it is true. It's true, but then it's not true for certain people. Like, it may be hard for me, but it may not be hard for this person. You know, although I passed the first time, I had to say it was a challenge, and I didn't think I was going to pass. I really didn't think I was. I was freaking out. Like, my friends can tell you, I was stressed out. Like, man, like, because you got to keep in mind, like, history was the only thing that I have not done. You know, me being recycled twice, like, I've done majority of everything like 2, if not 3 times. So history was the only thing that I had no experience with. So, you know, it was frightening for me, because I'm like, man, like, I made it this far. History is the only thing that I have left. So I don't want to fail at anything else. Like, this is going to dictate if I'm going to become a second lieutenant or not. So that pressure that was on me, my anxiety was off the roof. So I was freaking out. Like, man, I was so stressed. I was worried, but I just kept on pushing. I was studying, you know, getting with study groups. I was staying up late, sometimes 11, 12, sometimes 1 o'clock in the morning. And I was just studying, and it paid off. So I highly recommend that you guys do the same. Try not to stress out like I did, but, you know, you're human at the end of the day, so, you know, you're gonna be a little panicky, but try to maintain it and keep your composure and just do everything that you possibly can to be successful. History lasts about 2 weeks, 2 weeks of information, of studying and everything, and then, yeah, you take the exam. You have to get a 70% to pass. If you don't pass the first time, you have one more chance to pass. And what he do for you is that if you don't pass the first time, during the second chance of the exam, he will give you like a 2-hour study session where he will go over, I guess he'll go over the actual test with you guys, and then give you the test right after. So it kind of, I guess it's to help you, set you up for success. So yeah, that's it. That's all I have, guys, for this history video. I hope that it was helpful. I hope that I gave you guys some valuable information. Like I said again, feel free to reach out to me here in the comments below or on my Instagram. So I'm gonna go ahead and end this video here, and I will see you guys in my next one. Bye, guys.